Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on DAZN. Hello,
Oh,
Ed.
it's the voice of boxing too. I got to be honest with you, right? Hand on heart, listen, I'll tell it to you straight. So I'm tuned into DAZN watching the GBM show, right? All of a sudden, pans to the commentary team, you and Adam Smith. And I'm like, what is Oscar Bevis doing commentating? Gotta say, very good. Very good. I know I joked on your Instagram saying you surprised me because you were average, but you were very. I mean, got to be a little bit more refined. Do you know what I mean? But the voice was good, the tones were good, the excitement levels were good. Not too much. Very impressed, Oscar.
Do you know what? My
Very impressed.
mum, bless her, thought that 6 out of 10 was a bit harsh. But I said to her, a 6 out of 10 from you, Ed,
From
is
me,
much
no,
more than
six
a
out of ten
compliment.
from me is very good, very good. No, honestly, I thought you were very good.
Thank
Very, I
you.
mean, I will say, not to give you a backhanded compliment, but working with Adam Smith is probably definitely more of an easier position for a young upstart in the commentary world, but thought you were very good.
Thank you. Any slots
Put
on
it this
Matchroom
way,
before the
this is
bell?
this is the best. This is the best I could explain. Right? If you didn't tell me that was Oscar Bevis, and I didn't know anything about you, didn't know what you looked like, didn't know you as a person, I would have said, "There's no way that's Oscar Bevis." So
Okay,
I'm
cool.
actually not sure if that's a backhanded compliment as well, but
So you're basically saying if it wasn't me, then that
what I'm
was
saying is I thought you were a bit of a muppet, but actually you weren't bad. Yeah.
what I'm going to say is, and I'll ask this on interview, not that it will make the
Yeah.
answer any different. Any slots on before the bell coming up?
No,
Fair enough.
but I would also say this. If we needed someone, and I would have no problem slotting you in. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So if say that obviously we've got our team and we've got our talent, but say on Friday night or Saturday morning we went, oh, so and so's ill, we need to find someone else. I would even say maybe stick Bevis in. I think I think that's pretty big for you to be honest.
That is pretty big. I mean, watch out for me around the fight hotel putting laxatives in people's food
Yeah,
now.
exactly. Yeah,
The
yeah.
broadcast team, so I can
It's
make my
good.
way on
No.
before the bell. The big question though that I want to ask you that everyone wants to know: Did you get that therapy?
Which therapy? What from Netflix?
Yeah.
Not yet, no. I'm not adverse to it. Do you know what? I said to Coogan on an interview with him the other day. Like, it feels like certainly boxing fans watch the documentary because I think they just would. Like, whether they like me or not, you just watch it. But obviously it reached a whole different audience than who might normally listen to our interviews or watch on the zone or whatever. And I can't believe the nice things people have been saying. That in itself was actually its own therapy. Because I feel like in boxing, it's just like once you get to a level, you just get absolutely slated. Everyone wants to try and finish you. People are talking shit about you, like whatever. But this was just like, I guess the Netflix doc was quite raw in a sense of it was very real. And like there are occasions when obviously AJ would lose or Katie would win, and it's just me because you completely forget you got a microphone on you. And I think people quite like the relationship between me and my dad as well. Obviously, I've had a lot of messages saying, I have this relationship with my dad, or I never really had that relationship with my dad, or I think he's a bit harsh on you, or wow, how good to have a motivator like that. It's kind of went a bit beyond boxing. So, in short, it's actually I never knew how nice it felt to get positive comments. So that was my therapy. So right now I'm buzzing. I'm walking on air. Don't worry. Next week someone will get knocked out and it'll all be my fault and then I'll be a prick again. But right now it's been a nice feeling.
I was going to say, when you stepped in the car and you went, if Netflix weren't with us, this wouldn't have happened. I can't remember what, it might have been after Joshua Dubois. Did you feel
Yeah.
like they started following you then? It was
So
5v5, AJ,
yeah, there
Charlie.
is.
And it just
Yeah, I
like,
mean, 5v5 was like obviously it was bad enough what happened,
yeah.
but to have that happen when you're being filmed by Netflix and when you're mic'd up, and you got to remember like the camera follows you everywhere, like from the room at the hotel, getting changed, to the show, at the press conference, after the show, back to the room,
I've seen it. Yeah. I've seen them.
the
They are
whole, yeah, the
non-stop, mate.
whole thing. So it's not like, so the 5v5 is a real tough pill to swallow, But then AJ against Dubois, that was the real tough pill to swallow because that that part of the show also was supposed to be the last episode, which was AJ reclaims the world heavyweight title, Matchroom are back on top. Wow. And obviously he lost and you pretty numb at that stage. And then Jake, who's, great lad from the camera team, was like, look, I know it's a bit awkward, but do you mind if I come home with you? Like in the car and film you? And I'm like, mate, like I've just done the presser. It's now like 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is, and you're pretty low, And he's like, I said, honestly, Jake, I just don't. And their job, like, they're really good at getting you to do it. So he'll say to me, like, oh, no, mate, but like, just 15 minutes, I'll jump out somewhere on the A406. Like, yeah, of course you will. And then, and then I'll just go, all right, mate, just hop in. So I'm like, I'm driving the car, trying to get out of Wembley. It's like solid everywhere. Jake's like, so that was a devastating night for you and Matchroom, really, wasn't it?
Thanks, mate.
And you're like, yeah, thanks. Yeah, brilliant. And he's like that far away from me with the camera. And then obviously that's when we went to M&S but that was what I'd do. It wasn't like I didn't go, oh, let's pull into M&S. That'd be good content. That's just what you do. You drive home numb and then you wake up and it's a bit shit the next day and then it just gets better and better and then you just you move on to the next and you bounce back. So yeah, it's good. I'm sure season two is inevitable. The numbers are really good. So it's been a good exercise. I think I might embrace the next series even more because like at times it was such a ball ache where I do stuff, but maybe my heart wasn't completely in it. And a lot of that stuff I don't think would have even made the edit, but some of it did, like when they come into the office and go, oh, can we just, you know, can we film you and your dad having a chat? And then I'd go down to the changing rooms and put on a rascal pair of shorts and like a golf shirt. And when I watched it back, I'm like, what are you wearing? Like the whole world's watching this and you look like a complete tit. So yeah, but again, it was very real. Like it wasn't like, oh yeah, let's dress up like this. And the only thing that wasn't real was they made me come into a board meeting in the garden on a helicopter. And they were like, how do you get to board meetings? Do you get a helicopter? I'm like, no.
On foot.
I live 15 minutes away. I just drive in. Oh, we're going to get you a helicopter in. I was like, oh, you are going to make me look like a right div, aren't you? So, yeah, it was good.
No, I liked it. It was good. It was real. It was raw. Let's talk about Riyadh. So 3 deals across 3 sports, but what's about
Hmm.
to shake up the world of boxing now?
Yeah, I mean, look, Turkey's obviously in the mood to do business. I was in Dubai with AJ and then just a really impromptu trip where I knew that he was in Riyadh and I just jumped on a plane and said, look, I'll come see you. And, you know, there's stuff that's going to be dropping in the next 48 hours around snooker and darts and stuff like that, which is very big for the business. But, a partnership with Matchroom that will be extended, but also just obviously talks of various different fights. A lot of talks around AJ, of course. I'm not going to go into it too deep because I don't want to jinx it, but big plans for Anthony Joshua. And we're ready. It was a good meeting with AJ in Dubai. And when you sit down with His Excellency, it's like, you know, I had a flight back. I had to cancel the flight because he goes in that mode, and it's very difficult to explain. And it's just he just wants to do business, and he wants to get things done ASAP. So normally, when you're sitting down with someone and you're pitching an idea for a new darts tournament or a snooker tournament, this is something that has to go to a team, then gets analysed. The data will get analysed, the contracts will get reviewed, and it's a process that could take 3 months. I'm like, look, this, done. Right, next, this and it's just an amazing way to do business. I've never experienced it in my career, and probably never experience it again. But it sounds like it's a little bit wild in a sense, but actually, when you strip it back, it's not. It's actually pretty straightforward. He's never let us down on his word so far. I don't believe he'd do that. And I think one thing we've established with him is he wants everybody to do well within the industry. I've never known him go, right, let's block them or I'm not doing business with them. Matchroom, Queensbury, I mean, sort of they just sponsored the boxer shows again. Top Rank, Golden Boy. He's got sponsorship deals with everybody. And despite their position, whether they're flying or whether they're fucked, he'll still help out. And I think that's quite noble because he wants. When people talk about TKO and are you worried about TKO? Turkey's not going to work with TKO only or exclusively. He's going to back the other promoters. He's going to use the other promoters. He's going to use the other promoters' fighters. He's going to do shows with someone, shows with someone else. And I think that's good for the ecosystem of boxing.
Yeah, just talking about that deal or partnership or sponsorship that you mentioned with Boxer, it's no secret that His Excellency has declared his interest in purchasing Matchroom. Do you think that might include a part of Boxer being sold, this agreement, this partnership, or is it just, look, I'm
Oh,
sponsoring shows?
sponsorship, yes. But I mean, they had a sponsorship agreement with Boxer last year. They've obviously just renewed it, which is great for them. And the BBC stuff's, as we know, I think it's good for the sport, but the finances are very difficult. So this will be a help for that. We've got a sponsorship deal. Queensbury got a sponsorship deal. Top Rank have got one. Golden Boy. I think every promoter in boxing's pretty much got a sponsorship deal with Riyadh season. It's very helpful, and um, our deal's got nothing to do with Boxer, obviously. I think when a sponsorship deal is very different to a minority interest or an acquisition within a business. It's not, when you sponsor something, it's yeah, we'll put our logo on the show, boom, done. This is, it's very different when you're looking at across the business, and that's not always His Excellency. That might be PIF, Public Investment Fund in Saudi, or Surge, their sports arm, So, but I think it's very, very interesting times for us. The region is great for boxing, but even beyond boxing, we've got a snooker academy out there now with Ronnie O'Sullivan. We do the 167 event. There will be a darts announcement imminently as well regarding Saudi. So for us to make our events visible in the Middle East, it's very good for the company.
Yeah. Talking of this state clash, obviously, I know Frank wasn't happy, but is it something that's bound to happen? You and Frank clashed when it was TNT/BT and DAZN, and you were different broadcasters. Now you're on the same and you don't clash in the UK sense. The schedule's just spread wider. So BBC and clashes with yours and Frank's shows are just to be expected, right?
Yeah, I think that it's never ideal. No, and some people think people do it deliberately. No one wants to clash with a show. It doesn't, you know, it hurts the DAZN pay-per-view with Wardley against Parker, and it hurts the BBC show as well. Now, BBC will do a bigger audience because you have that casual fan base, people that are just sitting at home, older generation, flicking through channels, and you've got fight fans that will be watching. The reality is the BBC audience will be bigger than the DAZN audience because it's a subscription channel that you're paying for. But if you're a boxing fan only, in my opinion anyway, you're leaning towards watching the DAZN show, right? Because it's a better heavyweight fight. I mean, take TKB, Fraser's a good fight, but obviously Wardley Parker is a world-class heavyweight fight, with a really probably with a stacked show as well. But it will definitely affect the numbers on DAZN. So it's never great. Um, but it's also very difficult. If you want to go to the O2 Arena, it's very likely they're only going to give you one date in a quarter that works, and you have to make a decision. And when Frank picked that date, there was no other shows, and then maybe Ben wants to go to, where is that fight? Leicester,
Derby.
Derby, and the only arena they can get is on that date. I don't believe he chose that date deliberately to try and like, it doesn't work for anyone. But unfortunately, with venues and broadcaster slots, sometimes it's unavoidable.
Yeah. And just moving on to Dana White, I know he's come out and said he'll recognise his new Zuffa belt and the Ring magazine belt. Just your thoughts on that statement.
I think that, I mean, I heard he said that I went all Oscar de la Hoya criticizing him. I mean, not at all. I don't, I find it difficult to find an interview where I've ever criticized Dana White. I mean, I respect the guy. We've got a decent friendship. He's always been very good to me. And I'll always talk about the quality of his business and also the quality of him as a promoter. When he comes out and says things like, we're going to take over boxing, I'm going to be the CEO, obviously, what do you expect me to do? roll over like a puppy and let him tickle my belly. No, we're going to war because you're coming into my market, you're coming into my business where I believe I'm number one, and you're telling me you're going to be number one. So it's a shootout. It's a fight. There'll be no nastiness. I'm not going to talk about him negatively or personally or everything like that. I'm up for the fight. I think it's going to be, people are talking about it and almost like the perception of this Eddie v Dana war in boxing. Great. I mean, that's great for the sport. Um, the Zuffer belt, for me, is a belt that no boxer has any interest in at all. Like that's straight. I know this because in the past we've looked at a matchroom belt. The fighters have no interest. The fighters, although want to secure their financial future and legacy, also want to secure their own legacy, their own history. And the legacy and history comes through the organizations, the fights that they have staged, and the champions that have walked before them. Every young fighter looks at a Floyd Mayweather with a WBC belt, or a Hagler, or a Leonard, or an AJ, or a Fury, or a Lennox Lewis. They want to win the belts. That's the reality. We can't be naive enough to think that you can come in. People will fight for Zuffer belts. Of course they will, because if the money's right, but in my opinion, it won't be the top guys. I think unless the money was so out of control, and Dana's just not going to do that because he's going to pay the right money, as we know. When you talk to a Shakur, or when you talk to I mean Crawford's towards the end now, but when you talk to a Tio, or when you talk to any of our young fighters, a Boots or a Bam or whatever, if you turn around to them and you say, right, you can no longer fight for or defend your WBC, your WBA, your IB, and you have to give them all up and you'll never fight for them again. But you can fight for the Zuffer belt. They just go, no, no, unless you want to pay me like money that's just so ridiculous, which is never going to happen. So I I don't think I'm going to criticise the Zuffer belt. That's their move. I just think it don't mean a row of beans in boxing. And I actually think it devalues what you're trying to do because you're creating this new Mickey Mouse belt out of nowhere that actually has no history, no legacy, no standing within the game. Now their argument might be, yeah, but in time that belt will be like the WBC. I don't believe so. The ring belt's great. Everybody recognises the ring belt as, arguably the best belt in the sport. But um, you know, it's everyone's got different plans in boxing. I think their plan, I'm sure it's smart. I'm sure it'll work. It's, this league or this um, discovery of stars or contender series or whatever. But I don't know if people want to watch that level fighting it out for a Zuffer belt.
I mean, he's gone
I, d-
quite.
I don't. I mean, I want to watch the best of the best, and building young stars to try and create a legacy and a history of championship fights within the sport. That's what I'm interested in because I'm a boxing fan. Maybe that casual audience out there wants to watch those guys fighting for a Zuffer belt. I don't know. I'm sure. Listen, these guys. It's not going to fail, right? They're too smart for it to fail. But it's how can it do? And with what I've heard so far, I have absolutely no fear, no problem that it's going to affect our business in the slightest. In fact, what it's going to do is allow me to step up my game. Even now, this is all great for the ecosystem of boxing. I'm looking at my schedule now from January. It's going to be like it's going to be better than I've ever done on the zone before, right? They've got the bit between their teeth. Of course, you've got a new player in town. Right, we need to be stronger. We need to be better. We need to sign better fighters. We need to be making the unifications, the big fights, because we're all about the product of championship boxing. And everyone's well up for it. And it's great. It's not let's fuck Dana. It's just this is exciting. We've all got a little bit of a tingling in our nuts to say, "I this is what we want to be. We want to be in the trenches. We want to be in the firing line in that battle with someone like TKO, and we're well up for it."
I was just gonna say, you say you're a boxing fan. We know that I'm a massive boxing fan. Can I tell you my biggest worry with a
Mm.
couple of things I heard? He's gone brash, he's gone bold, talking about changing ring dimensions and rules. Do we then get to a point that when you shake things up so much, that's not actually boxing?
Yeah, but they don't look at it like that, Oscar. They don't necessarily want you as a customer. They want to go to Paramount and create this new look, this new league, this new format that maybe brings in a different type of fan. And by the way, that's not stupid. It's not like that's a terrible idea, but it's what you want. We are boxing. We represent and value the ABC rules, the history and the legacy of the sport, the governing bodies, the championships, the great fights, the Hall of Fame, right? I don't want to change the canvas to a different color. We're blue. We're blue, red, and white, right? We are boxing. I'm not going to change the way that the ring is. Maybe cut that corner off or put a rope higher. No, I don't want that bollocks. And I know people criticize me about he'd sell his own grandmother. I would not sell the sport out like that. You never, do you honestly think, fucking hell, Eddie Hearn's changed the ring. It's round now. Oh my God. And there's one rope and, and it's purple, the canvas. Fuck that. I've got enough money I don't need to do that. What I want to do is I want to make break boxing great again. And I have started my own WhatsApp group with our matchmaking team, which is Make Boxing Great Again. And that is what I go into 2026 saying, if you want to come up and switch up boxing, fuck you, because I ain't doing it.
Make
And
some
we're going
hats.
to take,
We need some
yeah,
hats. Make
I'm gonna
boxing
make
great
that.
again hats. Yeah.
We're gonna show you how great boxing is in 2026. Who's with me? Top rank, you with me? Oscar, you with me? Frank,
Yeah.
and
I'm
it's not
well
a
here.
case of, yeah, but it's not a case of, yeah, not you, Oscar, the other Oscar. But it's not a case of, oh, let's gang up. We don't need to gang up. We just need to make the fights. We've got the product. We've got the greatest sport in the world. So let's make boxing great again.